The extended essay is a 4,000 word essay that students investigate on their own over about 15 to 18 months. They choose a topic within one of their subjects that they're studying in the first part of IB1. And then during that first year, they learn how to investigate, which is really important. They learn about different sources, which sources are more reliable. A lot of students go to blogs and websites that aren't very reputable. So it's a good learning process because they can apply it to their IAs. Later on in the year, at the end of IB1, they begin the writing process and usually have a first draft done. They've learned how to do in-text citations and references. And then in their second year, they rewrite it. So it's a very thorough project. They learn skills that they can apply to other subjects and then later on at university. At our school in Cass, we have a lot of activities organized within our school, which students can connect to creativity, activity, and service. But students can also come up with their own proposals for things they can do in Cass. So it's a nice balance because within our school, perhaps in service, they might be working with primary students, helping out in the classroom, which would allow them to do creativity and service. But perhaps on their own, they have an interest in making jewelry, for example, and they want to then sell that jewelry to earn money to then donate it to a nonprofit. So it's a nice balance of ways to integrate in the school and to help other areas of the school, other teachers or other students in secondary, other students in primary, but it's also a great opportunity for students to come up with their own ideas. English language and literature is a wonderful balance because on the one hand, they have to read a wide range of literature from different genres, poetry, drama, or fiction. They also have to read male, female writers. They also have to read from different time periods and from different parts of the world. So that alone is a wonderful range of writing types and perspectives, points of view. On the other hand, with language, we have to read non-literary texts of, again, a wide variety of sources. So from newspapers, and just within newspapers, you have special focus stories versus editorial stories versus news reports. The extended essay, as I said before, is really important because the students are learning basic research and writing skills which go way beyond the extended essay, not only into their other subjects in the IB, but like I said, prepare them for university. And then those research skills and understanding good sources and how language works are going to be applicable in their personal life and their professional life as well. From the media that they consume in their free time to what they might have to do in their jobs in the future. So the extended essay and the skills they learn are very applicable. Skills that can then be carried on to their life after school. Definitely they learn how to work in teams because we do a lot of projects. We do different types of role plays. They have to learn how to take a project and divide it, give each person a different role in that project, and then come back together. They have to learn how to give each other feedback and constructive criticism, and then learn how to take that. Specifically in English language and literature, we're discussing big ideas that are in literature, and that requires listening to other people, giving everyone a chance to share their perspective, even if you disagree with it, and then be able to build on what other people are saying. And that's what makes English language and literature classes so much fun. You never really know where a conversation is going to go, but the students learning how to listen, how to collaborate, I think that's going to be applicable in any other job. And then, of course, just as I've said before, the ability to express yourself coherently, and the ability to understand how texts work, to convey ideas to audiences is really important because we're constantly bombarded all day long. All day long we're getting podcasts, or we're getting radio programs, we're getting advertisements everywhere we go, we're reading newspapers, we're watching the news. All of these things are having a big impact on how we see the world. So the more students understand how those texts work, the more they are protected and liberated just from outside influences. They can be more independent thinkers. One specific example that I saw in my class is we were reading Persepolis, which is a graphic novel written by Marjane Satrapi in the year 2000 about the Islamic Revolution that took place in the mid-1970s. And at the same time, just very recently, there was a protest in Iran because there was a woman who was punished for protesting some of the restrictions on women's dress and women's behavior. So my students came to me excited, telling me about what was happening in Iran right now, just a few months ago. So that then provoked a whole conversation about how do societies change? Does it come from within? Is it something like Iran? Would it require them supporting this woman? Could they write letters of support? How could they take part in that sort of transformation? So that was a perfect example of how something that we were reading in our class, they were able then to see reflected in the real world and then ask themselves, how does change occur in a society? There's many ways of defining success. I don't think the primary one is the grades that students get at the end of their IB diploma on their exams. I think success is when they have some particular objective, something that they finally recognize they want to change in themselves. And they find a way, the students themselves find a way of meeting those objectives. Success is also for them when they're able to embrace a perspective or a point of view that they never had before. And now they see the world differently. And they want to share and experience and grow. And they become different people. We have students come back after graduating that go to university. They come back and they tell us they felt really prepared for the challenges that they had at university. They felt open, and they felt that a lot of the choices they made to get them to where they were going from university were thanks to all the different perspectives and points of views that they'd learned through the IB diploma program. I would tell IB students to trust themselves that they're going to get through the program. There's always ups and downs. There are times when most IB students feel overwhelmed by the workload and the new things they're having to process really quickly, but they all get through it. So I would just advise them to take it easy, to not get overwhelmed, to know that when they're in a low point, that's going to end. Nothing lasts forever, that they will make it, they will get through, and then they'll be very, very satisfied with the learning process that they went through to get there. I recommend IB because it is an international curriculum, so it opens a lot of doors. Students can find admission to universities all over the world. I think that it has a nice characteristic in that students can choose a balance of subjects that they're truly interested in. So they aren't as limited as a national curriculum is. Usually national curriculums have sort of packages, and so there'll be 3 or 4 subjects in there that you're not that interested in, that you're required to take. So there's a nice ability to tailor studies. And then the fact that in all of the subjects they're going to learn how to research is fundamental, because even if some students say to me, why do we have to learn how to write a paper when you can get some kind of artificial intelligence to write a paper for you now? The students have actually shown me applications where you can say, write me an economics paper, and the computer will write a paper for you. And I say, yeah, but you need to be able to go out into the world and discern good information, reputable information from bad information. And so because in every single subject, and then of course the extended essay, they're learning how to do that, they're going to be much better at navigating the world. And I don't see that in all curriculums and other curriculums. I see a lot of sort of just teaching to the test. And I do think in the IB, there is a test that you take, there are exams that you take, but it's so skill-based along the way that the knowledge is almost less important than the skills that the kids learn. And that would be my main reason for recommending it. IB Wave is an online website that allows students from anywhere in the world to find expert support through one-on-one private teaching. And it could be for a subject, it could be for an aspect of that subject, if they need specific work in my subject, for example, in paper 1, or maybe they need help with their oral exam. So it allows for personalized support. It was necessary for IB Wave to be born because there really wasn't a service offered for students to find expert support in a flexible online format. The future of the IB is, I would imagine, for more expansion. There will be more and more schools in the world interested in implementing it, not only in the diploma, but also in secondary through MYP and primary through PYP. The IB is very open to change. They're constantly asking teachers for feedback. As we see the world tending towards more online learning, blended learning, I can see in the future that the IB will be on board with that. They will be pioneers in that. We'll probably see some of the assessments that we're doing changing and becoming less book-based, less academic, and probably more based on skills that students are going to need in the future. The subjects that are being offered are transforming as well to reflect business analytics, computer programming, for example. All of the way that technology is impacting education is also being reflected in the IB.